Good morning and welcome to another episode of 360 and Me. My name is Kimberly McLemore. I am your host. As you can see, we are back here in my home. We are having another new guest. I'm so excited. Of course, she's not new to me, but this is my best friend, my realtor, my girl, the whole 9 yards. People are going to be like, well, who is she? This is Miss Ciné Wright. So today, Ciné and I are going to be talking about the world of real estate, what's been going on in her life personally, all those great things. So I'm going to let Miss Ciné talk a little bit right now and introduce herself with her business, her team, all those good things. So welcome, Miss Ciné. It's so good to see you and have you back here at the house.
Well, thank you so much, Kimberly, for having me.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. So Ciné, why don't we talk about what has been going on since the last time we spoke? We did an interview, and it was funny. I was telling you earlier when we were talking, I literally had to go back some years to figure out when was the last time that I actually interviewed you, and it was back in 2017. The game has changed tremendously since 2017.
Indeed.
Right. So, let's talk a little bit about what's been going on with you personally, the business, the whole 9 yards. And I want people to really understand what it takes to be in the world that you're in of being a realtor.
Certainly. So first and foremost, thank you so much for having me here today. Hello, audience. It's a pleasure to meet each of you. I am a realtor in the Northern Virginia area. I've been practicing real estate full-time for 21 years this past January. Yes, 2017. Can you believe it?
I know.
A lot has happened since 2017. To take it back and bring it in, we bought 2 properties since then. Mm-hmm. We've bought and sold one, and we purchased another one, all since 2017. So, with that being said, let's start probably by talking about your experience as a seller.
Oh, look, now she's interviewing me, okay?
For the second time, because we've also done that before as well. But it's the different dynamics, because when we purchased the condo the first time, and we sold the condo to purchase to do your next purchase. So without really interviewing you, let's talk about the dynamics of that market in selling the condo and buying the townhome.
Right.
And coming to Woodbridge from Fairfax County.
Yes. You're talking about a major change. So it has been, I've actually been out in the Woodbridge area now, 4 years, which I still can't believe. I stayed in the Fairfax community for many years, but when I bought my condo, I was actually there for those 5 years. And you're talking about a huge change. The condo, the communities as a whole, and then just moving from one area to the next, and one community and city to the next, county, should I say, as well. So when I think about that process, it was overwhelming. As you always tell me, she was about ready to kick me down the street and then some, because I was very emotional. The process of buying was a lot different from going from the condo into the townhouse community, and then just moving from a whole county and a whole new area was a big process for me. But your guidance is what always gets me through everything that I've done. And just even selling the way we did was a whole different scenario from the condo coming to a townhouse and then going to another townhouse within a matter of 2 years in between those townhouses, right? So
let me interject right there, because that's huge, and most people don't catch that early on. So I'm about empowering my clients. First and foremost, when we meet, we talk. I get to know you. I get to learn you. I get to learn about what it is that you say you want and what you don't say.
Right,
and I have to learn by body language, probing questions, taking a look at your current surroundings, understanding who you are as a person, in order to be able to interject and provide probing questions that you wouldn't have normally thought of to connect the dots. It's like putting a puzzle together. We're going to lay the puzzle out on a table, all those moving parts. Well, real estate is the same.
Exactly.
It's a lot of moving parts terminology, lingo that you have to learn as we're going through the process. You can't assume anybody knows the lingo because we're learning as we go also.
Right.
But let's dive back. Let's start from when we first decided we were going to buy the condo.
Right. So when we decided to do the condo, obviously when we met, I was still pretty new to the area.
Correct.
I was not used to actually renting until I actually moved out to the DC area, and I was brought here for employment purposes and reasons. I was asked to come out. I didn't plan on staying as many years as I've been. And so when it was time for me to get out of the community of being, renting, because I actually hated it. It was not something I wanted to do. But my mind and focus was always on getting a house. Not realizing, of course, that this community is a whole lot different than where I came from. And I'm from the Midwest area. So financially, everything is different. The cost of living is different. My whole mindset had to be changed. It had to be rebranded, the whole 9 yards, because I was so stuck into the world of what I used to have and be in. And because a big part of people don't understand is that back in the days in the area that I grew up in, being in an apartment was considered, like a no-no. Having a house was the thing that you did. You've arrived, so to speak, right? Not understanding we didn't have a lot of townhomes as well. I mean, we had a handful, but it wasn't like the big thing to do. So when you come into another community and you think your thought process is still the same, I literally had to, like I said, rethink everything.
You had to realign your way of thinking.
Right,
because the dynamics of coming from the Midwest to the East Coast.
Yes.
That by
huge.
far, huge change.
Huge.
And so let's touch on that right quick, so that we can give the audience an idea. Those that do this, they travel all around the world and land in one area or another. Coming from the Midwest to the East Coast, the dynamics of the shock of that first and foremost, the financial aspect of it. If you come here and you get a significant increase in your pay, trust me, you're going to need that in order to survive and live here. So when I first meet with people, I'm asking about that. Where'd you come from? Where was the last, even if you didn't originate from there. What did that do for you? What did that look like? Because for a person like yourself, you went through all kinds of transitional changes of learning the area.
Right.
Fairfax County to Prince William County, Maryland to Fairfax County. All those dynamics played a major role.
Yep.
In where you decide to land. Driving, commuting, transportation, all those things that people really don't think about.
Right.
Which is, for me, why I like to talk to out-of-state customers.
Exactly.
Before they become my client. I need to educate you on the processes of coming here and what that looks like. People think that you can move from one county to the other and it's the same. No. It is totally different. It's different going from the city of Alexandria to Alexandria proper, meaning mailing address. So, understanding and having clarity just on renting.
Yes, it was huge, and just learning that. But I wouldn't have known that if you didn't have a realtor like you. And that's the key. Like you said, you don't just go in and say, hey, I'm here to sell your property, and that's it. You truly connect with the individuals that you are doing business with, and they do become your clients. But the key to that is that successful connection continues to move you forward with more continued business. And that is part of the reason why how we've continued to build our relationship. Even though we have a good personal relationship, the business side of the relationship has built and has grown because of our connections and because of the way that you know how to work with your clientele. I've never met anybody like you, and I've gone and my family has bought a lot of property throughout the years, and I understood the process. And as you know, I'm a little closer involved than most people would be. Correct. Because I like realty. I like understanding what I'm getting into. But a lot of people won't take that time to truly understand who they're dealing with. And that is the reason why you see so many who are flipping and flopping and constantly having somebody new when they're trying to purchase or sell their property, because there's no connection there.
Let's touch on that right there. So I met Kimberly. Let's see, this is 2023. I met Kimberly back in 2009.
Right.
Listen, you all, 2009. This is 2023. You do the math. Kimberly and I have bought and sold real estate 5 times. 5 times, 4 of her own, and 1 with her son here recently. Last summer, we did a transaction in Maryland. And I had an awesome, just an amazing referral partner that took extremely good care of my son, who I don't have any boys, so I've
She's
taken
adopted
him,
yes.
I adopted him early on as my son, as she has with my daughter. But more importantly, it in growing my real estate business over the years, I have learned to partner up with some amazing people, all 4 points of the universe. Every corner of the circle of the world, I have business colleagues that I can reach out and touch. And they have what I call boots on the ground, ready to receive that client upon arrival.
Right. And the other thing that is great about your connection is that you work with all of us vets.
I do.
You know, and the thing that was even more wonderful to know that, you know, obviously I'm a veteran, but I never utilized my benefits until I actually met Ciné. Nobody ever explained to me how beneficial it is to be a veteran and what you can do using your benefits when you're purchasing a home. I learned all of this when I met you all those years ago.
Yes.
And have continued to utilize my benefits in the proper way. But these are some of the things that a lot of people just don't know. And if you don't ask those questions, you're never going to know, you know, but you've got to have somebody who's willing to share that information. And you are that person who is not afraid to teach people what they need to know, because it's benefiting them as well as it's benefiting you, but it's also benefiting our community as a whole. And as a veteran, there's just so many things that, you know, we have. But like I said, if we're not being educated on it, you're never going to get past that. You're just going to continue to go down that path of not knowing and doing things that you could have saved on, or just, you know, could have grown a certain way. So that's something I want you to touch. Yeah, have options. And I want you to touch on that, because I think that's so important about being a veteran and how what you do in this community for veterans.
So I'm so glad that you touched on that point in asking. First and foremost, I am honored, I am humble, because I am a vet. I'm married to that. So it's a no-brainer for me. I don't care who I meet. I ask that pertinent question up front, because I don't assume that people have the benefits, and I don't assume that they don't. Go a step further. I also ask, do you have any disability eligibility? That is key in being a veteran. If you have as small as 10%, that is a huge financial savings for us veterans on our loan process. Again, if we go back to the beginning of this video, I am here to empower you, educate you, yes, sharing and swapping of knowledge. That's all day, every day, because I don't assume my veterans know. 90% of them do not know what benefits they have or what's available to them. Like you said, when I first met you, we did rentals. We talked rental conversation. But even with that, I said to you, I said, Kimberly, have you ever served our country? And you said, yes, I was served in the Navy. Oh my God, it shifted immediately to a whole different conversation, because not only am I honored to serve you in this capacity, giving back to my community is what I am responsible for doing. I serve in my community, I work in my community, I give back in my community. So I feel like any realtor in today's environment, whether you're here, there, wherever, if you are not servicing military, shame on you. and educating and getting empowered yourself on the benefits of what that veteran has earned, and being able to help service them to have clarity on this is the best thing since sliced.
Exactly.
Pie.
It is.
Apple pie. I mean, why would you not want to have your veteran exercise their benefit in the housing arena that they've earned that benefit and the right to be able to do and feel proud about it?
That's right. And that was the key, just that word that you just said, proud. When I came here, I think I've told you many times that I never felt proud as being a veteran because we were never really recognized.
Correct.
During the time that I came in and came out back in the late 80s and early 90s and latter part of the 90s, it was where I came from, being a veteran was no big deal. So it was like, even on a job, I never even would bring up I was a veteran. But coming back into communities like this, people truly do appreciate and show you that, hey, you have this opportunity to, and it's not about trying to use this as a staple to get yourself everywhere in life, but at the end of the day, we did serve our country. We did something that most people wouldn't do. 14 years, people could shuffle and say, oh, that's no big deal. It's a lot of time to give to somebody and not really know what you're worth or what you're valued at.
That's correct.
What you did was teach me and make me understand that I did have value, and that these are the benefits that you have and that you need to start utilizing them. Because I was looking at you like, I didn't know this. I was like crazy. I was like, are you kidding me? All this I can do with my benefits? And we have grown because of all this information. Like you said, 5 homes later down the road, even though my child is not a veteran, but still understanding the process of what it means to buy a home. That is the other thing that I really want to talk about. There's been times where you've taught people becoming realtors, and I've actually have the opportunity, I've had the great opportunity to come in and talk to those individuals in your classroom about how important it is to understand the process of dealing with your clientele, being prepared to buy a house, but then how your future is laid out. That this is really essentially a business as well in a lot of ways, even though people who don't look at buying property as being business, it really can be essentially that way, because you're making money, as well in the process. You teach people the understanding of that. It's essential to know why you're buying property. Because can we kind of dive in that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So let's take a step back for just a minute so we can move forward. In my book of business, by the way, I have a team. It's called the Right Home Team. Right now, there's 2 of us. My business partner, who is also a vet, married to vet. And so we take pride in that. You may think this is all about veterans, but it is not. We just have built our book of business around giving back to something that we're near and dear and close to. But even with that, understanding and having clarity about the other dynamics of the loan process, FHA, conventional, and VA, letting your clients know that they have options. They're not just isolated in one box.
Right.
However, being able to provide value and clarity of, even as a realtor, understanding the different dynamics of that in order to empower your clients. My clients, we're in a relationship. We're in a relationship for life. I am not just your realtor for that one transaction. I'm there in part of your family. I am grown into it. I am ingrained into your life. I want to know your family, everything about them, your kids, their kids. And so we build.
Right.
It's like climbing the ladder. We are always going to elevate one another. If it's something I don't know, I'll be the first to say, you know what, Kimberly, I don't know, but let me get back to you with that.
That's right.
And I will get you the answer that is necessary. You touched on something earlier. Yes, I'm a Virginia State certified instructor for the Principles of Real Estate course. I can teach anywhere in the state of Virginia the course. And that's another way of me giving back to our industry, is to be able to teach and empower fresh new minds that are trying to enter into our real estate industry by making sure they get the proper information. Everybody thinks real estate is about buying and selling. Real estate is about building relationships.
Yes, a much bigger picture than that.
And Upon building, remember the ladder, you guys. Upon building that relationship, long lasting, lifelong. I go wherever my folks go. It's a phone call for me. I make a phone call, I make it happen on the other end. I interview those agents before they get a chance to talk to our soon-to-be mutual clients, because I feel obligated, I feel required that if I don't connect the right people together, it's not going to be a memorable, good experience for the person that I'm sending your way. And what we're not going to do is you're not going to make us look bad.
Exactly.
You're not going to, you don't get that opportunity to do that. If we're not a good match, I'll be the first to let you know, because we're in the matchmaking business.
Right, and I love that you said that. You're absolutely right, because that was the same process that, like we talked earlier about my son. You know, like I say, you're here for Virginia, but you're not licensed in Maryland. So having those connections and be able to matchmake him with the proper person, it was a win all the way across the board. But then the other side of it too, when we talk about the processing and getting those pre-approvals, let's just touch a little bit on that, because that's another important piece of the process of building a relationship.
So let's touch on pre-qual, which is pre-qualification, and pre-approval. Two totally different entities of this industry, but hugely important. Pre-qualified is just that. You've given somebody your 9-digit social security number. They may or may not have already pulled credit. They're looking at basics and they're saying, yeah, you can qualify for a loan. Okay, but they haven't done anything in depth. They haven't gotten your bank statements. They haven't gotten your if you're self-employed, your 1099, your tax returns.
Right.
If you're employed, they haven't gotten your W-2s. They have done very minimal, but yet they look at your credit score and say, well, yeah, you could be eligible to get a mortgage for XYZ. A pre-approval, that lender has gotten up close and deep into your personal financial world. They've invaded your territory, as they should.
Exactly.
They need to know that you are worthy of them, borrowing their money. It's their money. You don't have that XYZ amount that you can stroke that check for that amount. Or if you do, you don't choose to use your money. You want to use someone else's money.
Right.
So in our area, a pre-approval opens doors.
Absolutely.
A pre-approval walks you into opportunities that a pre-qual would not necessarily have the same leverage. So go back to the stair step. You're going to see that several times and hear that often from me. It's about growing step by step by step to reaching that ideal closing day where you receive those keys. Same thing on the flip side for those that are selling, because you wouldn't think that would be anything to concern yourself with as a seller. Absolutely you would.
It is.
Because you want to make sure that buyer qualifies to purchase your home. You want to make sure that lender is got their ink on that paper and their hook into this thing. Why would you want to take your property off the market with the uncertainty of a pre-qual? That means that there's still several staircases and stair steps that person has to go through. With a pre-approval, that lender is sticking their neck on the line
for
saying
you.
That they will stick their neck on the line for Kimberly. They will own up on that thing and allow her to borrow their money to purchase whatever that property is that she wants to buy. They've gone through the extras and verifying, like I said, up close and personal in your finances. You can't hide no money from the lender.
That's right.
If you are dishonest, they're going to find it out.
That's right.
And that's not a good relationship to get embark upon, because they're not going to approve you that final loan.
Exactly. And the thing that's beautiful about building that relationship, every piece of property that I have purchased, I have been able to utilize the same organization over and over and over.
Same lender.
The same lender.
She has the same lender that we do our Sunday night 9 o'clock.
That's
Kimberly
the best time. That's the best time. I'm the only one who gets that privilege.
Kimberly purchase power is on a Sunday evening at 9 o'clock. This is an in-house joke, because if the lender is online now, she would have to smile herself to know that If I call her at 9 o'clock on a Sunday night, it's Kimberly's transaction, and I need for her to pick up that phone because I will not impede upon any of my lender business partners. I will not impose upon their personal and private time unless there's an absolute no way around it. Kimberly only shops on Sunday. By the way, that's my only day off. But Kimberly shops. We find the house
on Sundays,
on a Sunday, and we write a contract at 9 o'clock at night, and we get ratified by 10 because I have a business colleague on the other side. Whoever I'm writing that offer on, that agent is just as proactive as I am because we are having dialogue leading all the way up to when I'm going to present that offer to them that night. So I'm not going to waste their time, and I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm not going to waste mine, first and foremost, if you're not credit worthy. If you're not in it.
To win it and doing the right things right. And the key is, too, like I said, with building that relationship, because I have also been able to build the relationship on my side by doing what that lender tells you to do. It's not about, oh, well, I don't have time, I'll get to you when I get, no. They're doing you a favor. So even though you may be qualified to get the funding that you need to have in order to purchase these properties and stuff, you still have a huge responsibility, and that responsibility is not just to the realtors, but it's also to the lenders. So they are a team. We all become a huge team, and so you have to do the right things.
So stop right there. Can we add in who the other team players are? So besides the lender, we have home inspection.
All the other people. Yes.
In my world,
oh my gosh,
under the Right Home team, we teach our clients. We provide them with 3 of everything. 3 lenders. You choose any one of the 3 you build that relationship with. Kimberly has built that relationship with this one particular lender over the last, since 2009 now. And so it's not broke for her. She doesn't jump around. She's loyal to this lender. This lender is loyal to her. And this lender and Kimberly have a great relationship. They don't have to wait for Kimberly to provide them with nothing. Whatever they say they need, they have it before that call is ended. You have to be proactive. You're in it just like they are. You can't expect for them to jump hoops and you're still at a snail's pace of getting them what they want. But you want me to interrupt your Sunday evening at 9 o'clock?
Right.
No, we're not doing that. However, moving forward, so we have home inspectors. I provide you with 3. Remember that number, 3. We have those 3 home inspectors. You choose any one of the 3. All are great. So at the end of the day, you play into this, not just because I provided it or I chose one over the other. No, I'm asking you for your opinion. I need you to do your homework. I'm going to provide you with their information.
That's right.
I want you to make the call. I want you to schedule it. I want you to talk to them and probe in. Because guess what? They're not working for me. They're working for you.
Exactly. Key word. Exactly. Yeah.
Key phrase. They're working for you. So how many? The title company.
Yep.
I refer you to 3 that I have a business relationship with. Any one of the 3. Oh, and let me put this plug in there. If you have someone that you would prefer that we consider, your lender could be your bank.
That's true.
Or a lender relationship that you have. We don't care as long as they work the hours that we work, because your 9 to 5 lenders do not.
Right.
At 5:01, we're not talking to anybody until the next business day. Oh, and by the way, they don't work on weekends. So I can't call anybody on Saturday or Sunday. And remember, what time does Kimberly do business?
9 o'clock in the evening.
On a Sunday. So, guess what? If we need to talk to your lender, we can't talk to them on Sunday. We have to wait till Monday.
Right.
That could cost you that particular transaction, or that
you could lose it.
You could lose out on that. Let's speak to that for just a minute. Remember 3, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to test you on it. How many people do we use in our businesses? 3 of everybody.
That's right.
Home inspector, title companies. And the reason we do that is that way, I'm telling you, we want you to be a part of this process. I will never tell you who to use. I will ask you I will provide you with history of relationships that I've had with them, success rates, no issues at the table.
Right.
Thorough, detailed. Remember, the more you play into it, the better the service we receive. If you lag, everything else is a domino effect, and it could be costly because you said, I'll wait till tomorrow. Contractually, no, that's not how that works. And I invite you to read your contract every day.
Yes, and that's the key. And the way things were from 2009 up to today, oh my gosh.
Yes.
A world of difference. I can remember when I first started doing all this. I mean, we didn't do a lot of things online. Everything was done by hand. Everything has changed. The laws have changed tremendously. That is the other thing I think that we can touch a little bit about is how having a great realtor understanding the laws. We don't know these things. When you're a client, you're not going to understand, you're going to remember what you did when your last purchase. Take it out of your mind. Everything that you thought you did 2 years ago, believe me, I'm talking within 2 years, everything changes. So let's touch a little bit about that process and how important it is as a realtor that you need to share these things with your clients as well.
So let's go back to the ladder building process and climbing the ladder. Everything that we as a team, the Right Home team, have you signed, we go over it over and over until you have clarity. We ask you to repeat things back to us, not because we're stupid or not because we want to hear ourselves talk it out multiple times. No, you want your realtor to talk to you openly and honestly and probe you to be participant in every aspect of every, because when you sign those contracts, they're legal binding.
That's right.
You are held to the highest standards of having clarity and understanding. You can't, we get our backs up against the wall. You can't say, well, Ciné told me. No.
You signed the name on the
you
dotted
signed,
line.
you initialed. That said that you got to take ownership that whether you read it is irrelevant because that's on you. But you initialed or you signed an acknowledgement that you knew what you were signing.
Right.
So we ask you over and over and over again. We'll pull questions out of the contract and just ask you, hey, Kimberly, what do you remember what this said, paragraph 3? Let's go to that contract.
Yep.
Pull up paragraph 3. Do you guys know that since 2009 till current, how many contract changes we've had? Oh my God, we've had so many. Just to give you a clue, contracts in the real estate world change every January and July. Go back to 2009 and you count.
Exactly. So
and we have to stay proficient
Yep.
on those things. I go to class. I'm learning based. My business partner, we stay in somebody's classroom. Back in COVID, we were doing everything via Zoom. Now we can go in person, and we try to go every opportunity. Every time there's a contract class, we're in it. I don't care if we have to do it 15 times. We learn something new all 14 times that we've gone previous. So the 15th time, we're going to learn something else new about that same contract.
Yep.
And remember, we're into February now. Come July, there's something else going to change. Because what happens is, at least in the state of Virginia, when something becomes problematic, the board goes back and scratch off on that paper and dust it off a little bit and rethink the way things are written and how we're going to move forward in doing our business. Because if it costs a consumer some heartburn or some grief,
the
board says, we need to rethink this again. This is not what we interpreted, or that's not what they understood. So where is the loophole?
So let's talk about the grief. And I say that using that word only because we've known there's been a huge amount of ups and downs with the market, the interest rates, and people were literally blowing their heads off, their minds, thinking, oh, I can't afford this. This is too much. Not really understanding that the interest rates were, yes, they were getting high, but they're stabilizing back to where they were way before 2020 hit. Because we all know during 2020, the interest rates were so low, we probably won't see those again for another 20, 30 years.
At least.
And people were, I was one of them. We jumped in the fire. Hey, we did what we had to do. But what I guess the part of the conversation I'm really interested in is the fact that before 2020 hit, the interest rates were right around that 5-6%. And then they dropped down, and then they came back up, and they're right kind of back. Talk a little bit about how that's affected the industry and the market, and what people thought was happening versus what really happens.
Sure. Great question, by the way. So let's take it back even further. Back in the early 80s, interest rates were as high as a double digits. People did not want as they do now about the interest rates. But yet, the interest rates aren't nearly to those double digits.
Exactly.
Like they were back then. And people bought homes then. We got spoiled in the industry. And I say we because we all were a part of and played a part. When those interest stayed almost 3 years below 4%, everybody was happy with that. But the prices were steady going up higher and higher and higher on the homes. Well, the market is stabilizing. We call it marginalizing now, where it needed to do this in order to bring everything to an equal medium for everybody to play into. If you all were in the market of 2020 and 2021 on the purchase or the sale side, you all know what was going on then.
Hello.
Nobody ever want about the interest rate during those times.
Yep.
Because if you were a seller, it was out of control. If you were a buyer, you were in a multiple bid situation, and then some. You were basically having to give your firstborn away. You had to liquidate your 401. Potentially, you paid astronomically for a home in order to even get in the bidding war. Or you had to walk away from it because your money just would not stretch.
Right.
Whatever that circumstantial was, it was your circumstance. It wasn't mine, it wasn't Kimberly's, it was whatever was going on for you. We had those same conversations when we asked people, please do not go so emotionally in that you give up all your rights to home inspections. Waving out this, waving out that. Was that really the right house for you? Because my belief is, if it's the right home for you, things will fall systematically in place.
Exactly.
Kimberly is a living, walking witness.
Absolutely.
Don't allow your emotions to take control of your brain cells, because you will make the wrong decision if you allow your emotions to tap in.
Yep.
You cannot buy real estate and sell real estate. Again, I say you cannot, you should not buy real estate emotionally or when you're emotional. You should not sell real estate when you're emotional, because you make not so good decisions.
Right.
With the interest rate currently as it is now, it's still a wonderful time to purchase a home. The difference is your buying power may not be as stretched as you would like for it to be, because if you want to stay within a certain budget and your interest rate is higher, then it's going to potentially reduce the amount of home that you qualify for. Because remember now, you dictate out of your mouth what you want your monthly payment to be. The lender tries extremely hard to stay within that allotted amount of budget monthly. They're going to make sure the affordability is there so that you don't overextend your credit.
Exactly.
So your buying power may be lessened. You have to have clarity and understanding of what those finances look like. So yes, purchasing a home with a higher interest rate could potentially reduce your buying power, but you can still purchase.
Exactly. And
you
that's
need
the
to go
key.
through your wants, needs, and desires.
Yes.
We need to analyze, do I really need this? Do I really want this? Do I really just desire this? You decide which category any of your wants, needs, and desires fall into. Is it a roof over my head? Does it take care of the amount of folks that's in my family? Does it put a safe environment there? Does it fit all the immediate needs? Is it in the location? Is it in the area? In the school district? Whatever those things are, work from needs. Desires and wants are just that. They're secondary. So if you happen to become one of my clients, we all start off as customers, but if you become one of my clients, I give you that test. You have a homework assignment. Oh yes, Ms. Ciné said it. You have a homework assignment. And we analyze that and we dive deep. If you're a couple, we dive even deeper, because guess what? We found out that couples learn a whole lot about each other,
right,
that they thought they knew that they didn't know. We assume that in marriages that the woman wants the kitchen. Wrong assumption. Don't assume anything in any relationship. What we need to do is ask, what's important? How many bedrooms can we live? Do you have to have a 5-bedroom home?
Right.
If we get the area, the price, and the location right. Is a 5-bedroom a deal killer, or can we make a 4-bedroom work in that price range?
Exactly.
So, because that price range is going to determine, or at least put a stamp on where that interest rate is going to be, in keeping my monthly payment at, for example, $2,500.
Right.
I don't want to exceed $2,500. I do not want to go to $2,501. Okay, so what does $2,500 a month at 6% interest rate really look like? We have a conversation with our preferred lender, and we get those math broken down in a good faith estimate of exact, almost down to the dollar a penny, of what that really looks like.
Right.
Because if we're not involved in relationships with our lenders, with our title companies, with our home inspectors, we don't know what that math looks like.
Exactly. And you're right. You're right. And that's the reason why I wanted to have that conversation, because I think a lot of times when people are talking about buying a home, they get online and they start dreaming. They start daydreaming without any facts, without any realistic understanding of what it means to truly, what the process is of buying a home. And like you said, what those dollars are that you have, what your approval rating is going to be. It kind of drives me crazy when I hear people talk about it. It's like, oh, I found this perfect home on Zillow or whatever those industries are. That's great and dandy, but you need to understand what the realistic part is. So you need to have a great realtor. And Ciné knows I'm not going to send nobody to her until I know that they're ready, because she is going to take care of you. She is going to put you at a level that you don't even put yourself at, because she truly, truly turns you, not, like I said, you're not just a customer, you are a client. And then that client becomes that consistency of a true friend, because she's looking out for the best interest of you, of knowing what it is, because she knows you. Once she gets to know you, watch out, because she's gonna beat you down left, up, right, and around if you ain't acting right. I know, but it's all for the benefit of realizing that you think you know this, but this is what you really need to understand and know. And she wouldn't be able to know that if she didn't have the knowledge that she has every day that we just don't have. So when we talk about our plans, and Ciné knows that there's always a plan every time I buy a home. It's like, okay, are we going to do a 3 to 5? Or are we going to do a 5 to 10?
Stop right there. Explain the 3 to 5.
So, and when you're talking about purchasing a home, especially now, let's kind of go back to the condo scenario. That was one of my big first purchases here. So we had a 3 to 5 plan. So that 3 to 5 plan is, look, this is not my forever home. So when you're looking at it as not being your forever home, you want to have a plan of, okay, I'm going to stay here this amount of time. This is what I'm going to do. How much are you going to kind of invest into that piece of property? Improvements. What are you looking to get out of it? What is going to be your next step after you get done with that plan? So it was funny, when we did the condo, we literally were on the edge of 5 years by one day. Was it one day or 2 days?
2 days.
Right. But even with that process of selling, it was such a unique and change back then that I was literally going over the edge, and she had to bring me in. And it happens because you do get attached to something that you've had for a period of time. But people need to understand that when you're in the process of selling and you have these plans that you are looking to grow for yourself, because like I said, unless you plan on making that your forever home, you don't want to be in a piece of property for more than those 3 to 5 years if you're planning to grow and move forward. So every time we look at a piece of property and we think about our plan, when we moved into to that next piece of property, my plan was to not move in 2 years, but the key was it was the right timing. Opportunity and timing is everything. When we discuss stuff, these are the things we're talking about. It's not just about, oh, I want a bigger place and I want something prettier. It's materials. It's a much, much bigger picture than that. And that's why saying having a great realtor who truly looks at you as a good client, not just a customer at that moment, you start to build those relationships and realize that when we say, hey, it's time, because she'll come and be like, it's time. I'll be like, you're right.
So just to clarify a little bit, when we went in on this condo, I said, in 3 to 5 years, we buy now, would resell in mine. When we have our consults, we sat down and we map it out. Well, when we got we were 6 months shy, we were 2.5 years in, and I reached out. Now, we talk all the time. However, we go from friendship to business. This is a business call today, Kimberly. We're not girlfriends.
Yep.
Put on your business hat and let's talk. This is what I'm seeing in the market. I need for you to focus and pay attention and wrap your head around this. Are you interested in moving to the next? And what does that look like? Is it still move from the condo to a townhome or move from the condo to a single family home?
Right.
Then we had that conversation of transitioning from it's not happening in this price point in Fairfax County. Will you open up other areas for consideration?
Yes.
Absolutely not. I'm not coming to Woodbridge.
Yep. I did not want to be here, and I fought that.
It's only 15 minutes down the street from where she was. However, it was a mindset. So we had to graduate into that. In graduating into that, what we did was we had to go out and look at properties. What her money, her budget, your budget, not mine, your money, where you say you want it to be, the doors closed in Fairfax County because it meant that she was going to have to up her price range, which was going to what? Increase the budget.
Yep.
The out-of-pocket expense of your monthly mortgage payment. She said, absolutely not. I'm not going one red penny over. Okay, well then, ma'am, what you're going to have to do is stay there. Or now you're going to have to consider coming to Prince William County, which is where you should have came
the first time. Right. I got lectured on that quite a bit, and I still hear that all the time.
Because she wouldn't listen then. But now the money dictated. And so when you build your relationship, what we're getting at is when you build your relationship with whomever your realtor is, it doesn't necessarily have to be me. It's a mutual relationship that we choose one another. And I do not take on everybody that selects me.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's just not a good fit for me. I'll be the first. I'm very transparent. I'll be the first to say, ma'am, sir, it's just not working for me. I wish you well, or can I refer you to another business colleague of mine that there may be a better fit?
Exactly.
I'm okay with making that recommendation because I don't chase money. So your transaction is not about money to me. So let me say that again. Your transaction is not about money. I have not built my book of business based off of what my pocket looks like, or what I want my pocket to look like. I base my relationships seriously. I base my business building on relationships with you. It's not just for the immediate, it's for the long term. Remember, go back to the beginning of this video. How many properties have Kimberly and I done? 5. I'll help you remember. 5 properties. 4 of hers, 1 with her son. Total of 5 transactions since 2009. Very few of my business colleagues can say they have those kind of long-term relationships with their clients.
Right.
I'm in it for life. I want to do a relationship with you, your kids. When they get grown, if I told you how many of my clients I've watched their little Joeys and Sallys grow up, and then I became their realtor. When they got grown, they went off to college, they got married, they're growing their own family, and their parents saying, hey, I need you to come back and I need you to take care of my child. My grown adult child. My daughter went off to college. I've done multiple transactions with several of her college friends.
Yeah, and like I said, that is the perfection of what a realtor really should look like. And that's what I love. And I tell her, I say, you leave, I'm coming with you. So you packing your rags, I'm packing mine too. So we're going down the street, we're going
down the street. Which leads us into another part of, I want to do a small introduction into the next segment of what we're embarking upon now that I've done over the 21 years that has led to another business entity that's coming into play with the Wright Home team. So typically when we sell a person's property, we like to sell it with furniture in it. Oftentimes buyers can't see or visualize themselves living in a home that's vacant. We teach you how to be able to see that if the home is vacant. We also can offer a service to our sellers now that we can come in and set your house up for success, staging it with your furniture. We also have another side of us that we can also call in a staging company. It's an expense for you, but we sit down and we have that consult together and make the decision whether you hire us to go out and get the furniture, or we hire a staging company to come in, and you and us, we sit down with that staging company and we pick and identify furniture that we want to showcase in your home. Or my team and I, we come in and we take what you have, and you have the moving guys there, because we don't move furniture.
Right.
But we will identify and change out your whole house and make it show ready.
Exactly.
You have to play in. You have to buy all in. Because if you're going to be moving, you shouldn't be attached to anything, and you should be all in, because we're going to save you money. But you also may have to end up parting ways with that furniture if the right offer comes in. Are you all in? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because if typically we say it does not convey, but if that is part of the transaction, and that person will only buy your house if it's fully furnished, and I can tell you I've had clients that had to sell everything that was in it, because what the buyer saw online,
they wanted it.
They wanted every ounce of that furniture to include outdoor space as well.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was a win-win. It has been a win-win every time. But we can also tell you, you can replenish that for, oh my God, half of what you thought it would cost you. So break it down even further. You say, Ciné, we only have $5,000 to furnish this whole house. We're going to take all our stuff with us. We're not leaving nothing, not even nothing on the walls. But here's $5,000. Do what you do. We're going to give you some change back. Because we're going to go do what we do, and we can set your house up for success and look like $1 million with less than $5,000.
That's right.
It's having an eye for furniture, decorations, and we don't need to decorate the whole house. We don't need to furnish the whole house.
Right.
We pick the key rooms that are most important. So we're bringing that to you here in the second quarter of 2023. We're still working on the back end of the fine tuning, the actual name that we're going to launch with, and different things like that. And just so you'll know, we have Kimberly to thank for this. Kimberly is our first client that we have demoed this with. We've done a professional photo shoot with Kimberly in Kimberly's home, and just to prove to you all that part of that budget that we ask you for, we stick to that, and it has cost far less, and you have no idea unless you tell people with the receipt. You show it to them what you spent. They will never know.
That's right.
And they will think you spent $1 million. And who doesn't want to get a reimbursement back?
Exactly.
If you gave us $5,000 to go spend, and we can give you some back, and we end up selling it all and getting you more money than you thought, who doesn't want to do that?
Yes.
So stick around, join in, reach out and touch us. You can feel free to email us at the Wright Home Team 7, the number 7. Look it up. 7 is a spiritual number at gmail.com. The Right Home Team, my last name, WRIGHT, Home Team, number 7 at gmail.com, 703-861-8017. Happy to sit down and have that consult with you. And remember, I'm not for everybody, but everybody wins when you work with us.
All right. Well, on that note, so all the information that we share today, we'll definitely have in the show notes so that people who don't remember what the Right Home Team is and how to reach out to them. And of course, if you can't remember Miss Ciné, you can absolutely reach out to me at any time at Kimberly at WSBILC@gmail.com. And of course, you can go directly to the website at www.WSBILC.com and reach out to me there. But I hope that you enjoyed this episode of 360 Me, and it's all about real estate, all about understanding why it's so important to have a great realtor and building those relationships. But until next time, you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Deuces.
Peace.